Good vibrations. That's the positive vibes that we'll be creating on this show. I'm Elijah Lee, and I'll be your host.
And I am Bruce Bay. I will be your co-host.
You're listening to DoubleZero Nonsense. So me and some of my guys get into talks that we wish were recorded sometimes. So since podcasting was presented as an option in this broadcasting class I'm taking this semester, I could not pass up on the opportunity. We aren't always having talks like this or deep kind of talks that we wish were recorded, but we do enough for me to feel good enough about getting the show kicked off. Something else that kind of inspired me to start the show is hearing people talk about how they wish they had a better group of friends or a better circle. Not that they hate their friends or anything, but they just want to be around somebody that offers them a different perspective. We're here, we're those friends for you. We want to be those friends for you. Hopefully we can offer you a perspective and insight on things that prove to be a benefit and change your life in some positive way. But yeah, that's why we're here. So I'm gonna have some people on this show who I respect, admire, and those who I think people could benefit from listening to. In fact, I've got one on with me now. I think he mentioned something about being on for the remainder of the series. His name is Bruce Bay, coming from LA with knowledge and vibes for days. Thank you for joining me, Bruce.
Yes, peace. Forever standing, on the 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I will be your co-host, Bruce Bay, commonly referred to as Juice, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joining my main man Eli here in this space on the DoubleZero Nonsense podcast.
I'm honored to have you on the show with me, man.
Love.
This being my first podcast, I can admit to a little bit of nerves, so having a second party helps calm me down a little bit.
We in it together, baby.
Especially having one like you, man. We'll get into bragging on more about Bruce later on, but it's just a few words that you'll be hearing, some recurring themes for me in my life, some words that I love, habits, momentum, value, and a whole lot of words like that. So just going off of the word value, we'll talk a little bit about that today. As episodes or as the series goes on, we'll get into different words like that, topics similar to it. Today we'll just give a little sample of some stuff we like to talk about. So starting off with value, I believe it's important to understand value and how we become of it. I believe it's important to question what we value. Question if we're truly valuing what we ought to be, and if not, why not? I sometimes think I overthink. People sometimes tell me I overthink, and which could be true, but honestly, I think I'd rather think over than not at all. So, but of course, there's some times when it's best to just let go of all thoughts and just be,
That's right.
But that's for all of us to decide as individuals. Mm-hmm. Which is something else we'll be speaking on throughout the series, the importance of individuality. That's big for, I believe, both me and Bruce, and that's a big reason I had him on. It's because of how confident he is within himself and within his own individuality. Anyways, before I go any further, I want to make it clear that I'm not claiming to have all the answers or to be a genius by any means. I just enjoy thought-provoking conversations. I enjoy being challenged in various areas. I also enjoy looking at things in depth and from multiple viewpoints. While this show is to provoke thought, it's not just for the audience. I'm somebody who loves to learn from people as well, right. Which is another reason I got Bruce on. So if y'all have, after watching any of our episodes, if you have any questions, if you have anything you'd like to be talked about or anything to add, anything you disagree with, want to emphasize, whatever, you want to just talk to me. I've created an email specific to this podcast. That is 00 nonsense @yahoo.com. So again, feel free. Bruce, that's enough talking from me, man. What you got?
Well, first of all, thank you, man. Thank you for having me here. I guess just some short background of myself. I played 4 years of collegiate basketball, 2 at Loyola Marymount University, LMU, from 2011 to 2013. And then my last 2 years at APU from 2014 to 2016, where I credit my most successful and fulfilling playing years. I also received a bachelor's in communications with a media studies emphasis while there as well. And yeah, man, I'm forever grateful for the lessons learned and the relationships I garnered while I was there. As far as, I guess you could say, work goes, while still in college and for a short time after graduation, I did some sports marketing for Nike, mainly with Nike basketball, all while developing my own lane as a basketball trainer, which is one of my passions, still remains one of my passions, man. And I've enjoyed that side of things here at Midwestern State University, being a grad assistant for the men's basketball team, which is obviously where you and I plug in. So, yeah, man, after the sports marketing experience, I coached some high school ball at Redondo Union in Redondo Beach, California, and then at Pierce Junior College in Woodland Hills, California, shortly after that. So, yeah, man, I've been around the game. One thing I love about the game is that it allows us to correlate life lessons and, life experiences, and it allows you to be able to conceptualize them in ways that you might not be able to outside of sports. Everybody calls, sports an outlet, and sports, this place of peace for a lot of people. And that's what I'm all about, man, finding places of peace. And I think here on the DoubleZero podcast, you'll find a lot of peace in this space. And if you don't, that is perfectly fine. We are here to talk about any and everything as it pertains to the mental well-being and physical well-being of all individuals who are willing to listen, man. So I appreciate you.
And also, I'll add that him adding a little bit about himself should be important to you all, and you should probably be wondering why I haven't yet. I'm going to just kind of let it unfold, I guess, as things go about, because I think I have a few stories, in different pieces of my life that I'll eventually share. But you should know who you're listening to,
Right.
Can't just be pulling information and tips or whatever from just any old body and any source. So it's good Bruce provided that. I promise I won't leave y'all hanging. But I will give a little bit of a background on myself. This is my 5th year in college. It's taken me 1 year longer than planned, but it's life, man. Things don't always go as planned. It's just about adjusting and making the most of each season you're in. So it's my 3rd year here at MSU, 5th year in college. I spent 2 years at school in Malibu, California, called Pepperdine. I have good and bad experiences or memories from there. And a lot of it I learned, I feel, what some people don't learn in 20 years, in 2 years. So that was a great experience for me. And being at Midwestern is just like being back home, but it's a little bit more southern than I'm used to, a little bit more, I shouldn't say southern because it's actually north of where I'm from, but it's a little bit more country than what I'm used to. So anyways, now in Wichita Falls, I eventually plan on being back in Houston, but that's just a little bit about myself. I played college sports, played basketball for all 4 years, fortunate enough to receive full scholarship. And again, like kind of what Bruce said, as basketball players, it prepares you for life in a different way, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things that people are doing, dreams that they're chasing, paths that they're currently on, who have insight or have an angle on things that I don't, because I've only had a limited experience as a basketball player. So again, that's why this is an open field. So anyways, I want to talk a little bit about how I don't really like small talk, which is the whole purpose of the show. We want to go into certain or topics that we address. We like to dissect them in every way possible. A comedian, one of my favorite comedians, Jim Gaffigan, he will talk about the mustard or the ketchup at McDonald's and dissect it for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Joking about ketchup. And we kind of see ourselves as that, but dealing with things as it regards to society, people within society, how a society works as a whole. how we can be of value to the society that we're in. So anyways, as the episodes go on, we'll start to unravel those type of things more and more.
As we start to, talk about value and giving, giving certainly is something that I hold true and close, just simply because, it should be within our human nature. And in a lot of ways it is. We don't realize the many ways in which we do give. It doesn't always have to be, in a tangible or material form. But, no man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing, and these are divine instructions, as far as the unity of life goes. And so, I personally just want to continue to grow and learn with individuals who are humble enough to admit that they want to do the same, man. And this is seriously a great space and a great time to share truths and thoughts and feelings and inspiration, as, many of our pre-existing ideologies have been challenged as of recently. You know what I mean? And so I'm 100% grateful, man. But, getting back to this idea of giving, giving evokes feeling and awareness, two things that I feel need to be paid attention to more by, all individuals, including myself, because these feelings allow us to engage with each other. And we don't always have to agree, but the more we realize that we have more similarities than we do differences, is when we start to truly love each other, love one another, right? And people think love is this intimate, they attach this intimate idea to the word love, but love comes in so many different forms, man. And that just comes with awareness, right? And so just being aware, continuing to feel as much as we can, it'll really allow us to engage in great and meaningful conversation. And that's really my intent and purpose for, accepting this gracious invitation to join you, E.
And kind of going off of what you were saying about love, I believe it goes hand in hand with giving, but honestly, it goes hand in hand with a whole bunch.
That's
just
right.
like how you said it comes in a lot of different forms.
That's right.
But speaking on giving in particular and some of the different forms of it, and one of the reasons I wanted to address giving in particular on this show is because I believe it to be one of the biggest things or most important things we grasp in life, or one of the most consistent laws about life. And so one of the forms I'll speak on giving is my best friend's dad, who recently passed away December 15th. He was the reason that me and my best friend are best friends today. And it's not, it's not that I'm owing him. Like, now that he's gone, it's not that I'm doing him a favor by being my best friend's best friend.
That's right.
It's like I'm honored to be that.
That's right.
Yeah, I consider myself fortunate and blessed to have him as a friend. So, but at the same time, it's like he did something for me at a time where I needed. I just had my parents, which were great parents, but it's also nice to have that second set of guardians, I guess you could say, or people to look up to. Indeed. To give you that different insight, because as humans, and especially as kids, we get tired of hearing the same message from the same person.
That's right.
So anyways, the way he loved me changed my life, and it automatically turned me into a giver unto his family. So that's just the way things go in life. And another way that I'll just touch on and wrap up afterward is giving unintentionally. And sometimes we give selfishly.
That's right.
Sometimes we do something nice, not expecting anything in return, like material or money, but praise. We do stuff in the light so that people can see. That's not true giving. You know what I mean? That's not coming from a genuine place in your heart if you want to be real about it. Another way we give is me, because I'm a basketball player, I'll put it in this context, going to the NBA. As an athlete, you're offering your talents unto the world, and that's why you get compensated so nicely, because a whole bunch of people watch basketball. You know, more people watch baseball. Apparently, still don't get that one because they get paid way more.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just the way things go. You're given something, so you get something. You provide a service, you get compensated. So instead of fighting, that's a law that will never change about life. Giving. So if you embrace it instead of going against the grain, if you just embrace that concept and give genuinely, imagine how much more you would be blessed, how much better you would feel. You know, so give genuinely. I just am with that.
Yeah, no, that's love. So, I mean, that just really aids back to the, quote I stated earlier, that no man lives unto himself, for every other living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. You see, so it's literally within our nature to give naturally. Once we start to, take these unnatural routes of wanting something in return for the giving, that's when it starts to become deceptive. That's when it starts to become painful, when you don't receive what you were expecting, right? Give without expectation. Give selflessly instead of selfishly. And that's a great point that you made, E, because this is actually who we are as people. And even though we don't realize sometimes we are giving selfishly, we are giving, right? And that is because it is within our nature to give. So the more mindful, right, which is one thing that we want to encourage here on the DoubleZero Nonsense podcast, just being more mindful of your actions and your intentions and your thoughts will allow you to decipher between whether or not someone is, or you are, or are not giving with the intent of love. So, I guess that's all I got to say about it, man. Just continue to stay mindful, continue to pay attention to the things that matter at this point in time. And
it's more important now than ever.
That's right.
In the time we living in.
That's right.
And something else I'll just add, man, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe this will get cut. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Because we can just keep on talking, man.
Of course.
But just going off of giving without expecting anything in return, something you said, going along those lines, it kind of applies to relationships.
That's right.
You know, whether it be romantic or not, just a friendship. If you think about a friend who's giving something to you or doing something for you, and he expects something in return, you feel that.
That's right.
I mean, and you don't feel no love from him.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But with a friend who gives freely of himself, you gonna do anything for dude.
That's right.
You'll die for dude.
That's right.
And obviously the same goes in romantic relationships. And you could probably talk more on that than I can.
Indeed.
But ending on a love note, anything else you want to add, Bruce, before we wrap it up? Actually, hold on, my bad.
Yeah, hold on, man.
I almost left you hanging, man.
Come on.
I almost forgot the juice of the day.
Hey, now.
Hey, so if y'all know Bruce any kind of way, he's going to bring juice every day.
I like that.
And juice comes in a couple of different forms.
That's right.
We talking about energy. That's mainly what we are referring to when we say Bruce juice.
That's right.
Bruce is bringing energy, but he also is this health freak. I'm going to let him put y'all on some game throughout this series.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. But right now, actually tell us what you are drinking on today, man, and then provide us with some of your juice.
Indeed. Well, in that jar over there, we have a little bit of kale, some ginger, a little bit of Meyer lemon, some lime, some Granny Smith apples, some Gala apples, and some parsley, man. So that's the green machine we got
wild
behind
parsley?
us. Some wild parsley. Yeah, you heard me, man.
Man.
It adds a little bit of flair, a little bit of kick. I ain't gonna get into all the medicinal benefits here on this show, but we will be doing an episode where I break all that down for those who want to be informed.
Indeed.
But as far as today's, juice of the day, I'm gonna be taking or using each and every point of the 5 points of light, which are, high principle, moral standards. And I want to start with this, and this is how I'll start every single time. And I want you to, while I'm reading this, envision a star, right? A star, you know, the cosmic symbol, a star. Of course you do, because that is what you are. So my head is crowned with love. I have truth on my right and peace on my left. My right foot is unbound, giving me freedom. And my left foot moves forward in justice. All right. So those are the 5 points of light: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The first today we'll be talking about is love. All right. And I'll make it, you know, fairly quick. When I think about love, you know, it's really about meeting people where they are, right? And not where you want them to be. And love obviously extends beyond people, but truly, you know, it's an understanding and an acceptance of, you know, what is. And now we aren't to mistake acceptance for complacency now, right? We don't want to get stagnant. We don't want to be, you know, angry in a position that we are in. So true love now allows room for ascension, right? Space and growth. So whether that be for someone else or for yourself, you know, sometimes you got to give yourself some space, you know, take a break from social media, take a break from the group chats, you know, take a break from anything that you feel is mentally or physically, you know, bogging you down. And that is self-love, right? That's where it starts. Everything starts within. So I want to just encourage, you know, all the listeners. And as I speak, you know, I speak things into existence. So I'm speaking to myself as well. Just continue to love yourself, love others, love what you do what you love, right? And just be yourself. I appreciate you guys.
So love, truth, peace, acceptance, and it's that last one.
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Oh man,
come on, man! Acceptance is there though, right? It's it's all there. I'm with you, though. I'm with you.
So love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We appreciate y'all joining us on this episode of DoubleZero Nonsense. Hopefully we leave you better than you found us. I'm Elijah Lee.
And I'm your co-host, Bruce Bay.
Thanks for tuning in.